Hey, how's it going? Thanks for clicking on my QR code. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Department of Transportation. So you might be asking the question, what does this do? Well, obviously it helps with transportation, hence the name Transportation, Department of Transportation. It helps maintain the nation's transportation system, and it provides funding to improve ways of transport by providing the funds to lower levels of government to improve the means of transport that Americans use, like cars, trucks, trains, ships, and planes. And it also develops and enforces laws involving the ways that we use highways and roads, from everything like cars, trucks, trains, ships, and planes. The Department of Transportation helps to make that better and safer for civilians to use. And it also tries to limit the drug use that goes on there. So when did this all start? It all started in 1965 when a man named Najib Halabi, the administrator of the Independent Federal Aviation Agency, proposed the idea of a cabinet-level department to the president of Lyndon B. Johnson's aides in 1965. Frustrated by the Defense Department's infringement upon certain transportation issues, such as supersonic transport, Halabi wanted to elevate transportation policy to a higher level. He argued that the new department should assume the functions then under the authority of the Secretary of Commerce for Transportation. Moreover, he recommended that the Federal Aviation Agency be become of the new department. President Johnson agreed to this plan and sent it to Congress on March 6, 1966. After a long time, it finally came about in October 15, 1966, when the president was given authority to create the Department of Transportation. It could also be shortened as DOT. The addition of the DOT represented the most sweeping reorganization of the federal government since the National Security Act of 1947. Almost overnight, the DOT became the fourth largest cabinet-level department, bringing together more than 30 transportation agencies and functions scattered throughout the government and about 95,000 employers. And also the Coast Guard is included in the Department of Transportation. And in 1970, they passed the Highway Safety Act. They, in the DOT, passed the Highway Safety Act, which authorized the establishment of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. This law added somewhat to the department's safety mission. And besides establishing another operating administration and adding to the Secretary's span of control and coordination workload, the Highway Safety Act separated highway administration into two parts: design, construction, and maintenance on one hand, and highway and automobile safety on the other. And they also passed another act in 1978, the Inspector General's Act, established for the department and other executive agencies as well. An Inspector General appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate. The mission of the Inspector General was to help the Secretary cope with the waste, fraud, and abuse. Before leaving office, Adams recommended that Federal Highway Administration and the Urban Mass Transportation Administration be organized into Surface Transportation Administration, an idea that latter transportation secretaries toured with as well. And then later, they made the Intermodal Surface Transportation Efficiency Act, which provided a 6-year reauthorization to restructure DOT's highways and their safety programs. And then on November 19, 2001, President Bush signed a law for the Aviation and Transportation Security Act, which helped establish a completely new Transportation Security Administration. The new leader of this is Elaine Chao, and then some significant leaders is Elizabeth Handful Doyle, the first woman leader, and another one is Alan S. Board, first leader and a key figure in the department, passed the First Nation Highway Safety and Federal Motor Carrier Vehicle Standards. And you can find this in Southeast Washington, D.C. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned something. Amen.